Hello students, welcome to today's lecture on compiler design. In our previous class, we have discussed about how to design an SLR parser, and also I have described the concept of designing SLR parser with the help of an example. Today also we will continue the same topic, and we'll go through another example of designing SLR parser. So let us begin. If you can recollect, these are the steps that we follow for designing SLR parser. Initially, the grammar must be a context-free grammar. You need to ensure that, and check for the ambiguity existence in the grammar. If at all any ambiguity is there, just remove it with the help of the technique that we learned earlier. And then second step is add a new production, which is called as argument production, into the given grammar, and generate all the canonical collection of LR of 0 items. Then we represent it in the form of a data flow diagram, DFA. And finally, we build the SLR parse table. And we can use that SLR parse table to see how it works while parsing a given input stream. So these are the steps we follow. This is the example I am considering. Let us say E implies E plus E or E star E or ID. This is the grammar. You can see it. This grammar is ambiguous grammar. We have proven that this grammar is ambiguous in our earlier lectures. Therefore, we need to convert this into an unambiguous grammar. So eliminate the ambiguity from this grammar by introducing new variables into the grammar like this. So E implies the second existence of capital E is replaced by a new variable T, and all the other occurrences of capital E is replaced by T. And therefore it becomes T implies T star T or T. And the second occurrence of T is also replaced by another new variable, let us say capital F. Then T star F or F. And finally, F implies ID. So I have already explained this process of eliminating ambiguity in earlier lectures. You can go through that video of eliminating ambiguity from the given grammar. Okay. So once you eliminate the ambiguity from the grammar, next thing is step 2 is add the argument production, and also I'm inserting the dot symbol into the grammar at the first position of every production. Okay. So this is the name of the new variable I am introducing, which points to capital E. Capital E is the start variable of the given grammar. Therefore, argument production should be S dash implies capital E. Then the remaining grammar is going to be same. E implies E plus T, RT. T implies T star F, RF. And F implies I. And put a dot before as the first symbol on RHS. Okay, so this becomes an augmented grammar now. This is our second step. Okay, so converting it into an ambiguous grammar, and then converting the grammar into argument grammar like this. These are the first two steps. And the third step is generating all the canonical collection of LR of 0 items. So for that, what we need to do is we will begin with I0 state. I0 state will be calculated with the help of this formula, closure of the first production, the argument production, which is nothing but S dash implies dot E. That is our first production. So closure of this will become I0 state. So we need to calculate this closure of S dash implies dot E. What does this mean? S dash implies dot E, and because there is a variable after dot, you need to add the productions of capital E also. So what are the productions of capital E? We have two productions, dot E plus T and dot T. So we added these two. Again, check for the symbol after dot in the added productions also. So it is dot capital E. Again, it's a variable. So you need to add the same two productions, but already they have added. So there is no need to add it again. Adding the same production repeatedly is not allowed here. So because it is already added here, no need to add again. And if you look at this, there is a capital T after dot. So what that means, you need to add all the productions of capital T also. So what are the productions of capital T? These two. T implies dot T star F, T implies dot F. So you need to add these two also. Okay. And again, you check the symbol after dot in the new productions which are added now. So dot T again. So dot T, the productions of T are already added. So there is no need to worry about this. And then here in this production, we have dot F. So this is a new variable. Capital F is a new variable. So add the productions of capital F. What are the productions of capital F? This one. So you will add it. And if you see after that, now it is a terminal. ID is a terminal. Therefore, the process is stopped. So I naught state contains these many productions. Okay. So once I naught is constructed, the next thing is you need to generate other states from I naught by looking at the symbols after that. That means I naught on capital E, I naught on capital T, I naught on capital F, and I naught on capital ID. So there are four possible moves from I naught. So you need to define all the four. So I'm directly showing the diagram here. You can calculate it like this. So I naught on capital E. The first two productions contains dot E. Therefore, I naught on capital E. For every symbol after that, you need to define a transition. So E, T, F, ID. The four possibilities, so four transitions we are showing. I naught on E. What happens is just move the dot to the uh, right side. Okay, so in S dash implies dot E, move it as S dash implies E dot. Right. Then uh, in E implies dot E plus T, move the dot towards right. It becomes capital E implies E dot plus T. In both these productions, if you observe, there is no symbol here. So it will not generate any new production. And here, if you observe, after that you have a plus symbol. Plus is a terminal. Therefore, it also will not generate any new production. So I1 contains only two productions. Okay. The next thing is I naught on T. How, what happens I naught on T? Just move dot after T. It becomes E implies T dot, and T implies T dot star F. Here also, if you observe, after dot there is no symbol available, but here a symbol is available, but it is a terminal, so these two will not generate any new productions, right? So I2 contains two productions. Then on F, I naught on F, just move the dot after F, it becomes T implies F dot. Again, there is nothing after F after the dot, therefore I3 contains a single production only. And finally on ID, just move the dot after ID. So it becomes F implies ID dot. Because there is no symbol after dot, it stops. So I1, I2, I3, I4 are generated. Now again we repeat the same process for all the symbols after dot. For I1, in this production we have no symbol, and in this production we have a plus after dot. So you define a transition on plus. Okay. What happens? Yes, E implies E dot plus T is the production. It becomes E implies E plus dot T. E implies E plus dot T. Because there is a variable after dot, you need to add all the productions of capital T also. So what are the productions of capital T? Capital T productions are from here only. Always you need to add the productions from I naught only. Okay. So T implies dot T star F and T implies dot F. These two are added. Again, if you see after dot you have capital T, they are already added. Here if you see after dot we have capital F. So you need to add the production of F also. So what is the production from F? It is F implies dot ID. And because after dot we have a terminal, it stops. So I5 is complete. Right? From this I2, there is no symbol after dot here, but here after dot we have a star symbol. So you need to define a transition on star. Okay. So what happens? It becomes T implies T star dot F. Okay. So dot is moved towards right. So T star dot F, and because there is a variable of dot, add the productions of this variable. What is the production of F? F implies dot ID. It is added, and because after dot you have a terminal, it stops. So I6 is completed. Okay, and from I3 there is nothing to define, so no transitions from I3, and from I4 also no transitions are available because there is no symbol available after dot. Okay, now let us go to I5. So I5, we have symbols after dot. Here it is T, capital T. So define I5 on T now. I5 on T. So what happens? Just move the dot towards right of T. It becomes E implies E plus T dot. Okay. And also because it is defining capital T on I5, here it has dot capital T. Therefore, move the dot after capital T. Again, you will get T implies T dot star F. Okay, and any other symbol after dot as T? Oh, only these two productions has capital T and dot. Therefore, this will be 8. So no symbol after dot, and after dot we have a terminal symbol. So these two productions will be completed. No other production will be added here, right? So that is I5. I5 on capital T is defined, and then I5 on capital F you need to define. I5 on capital F, this one. I5 on capital F defines T implies F dot, which is nothing but I3. This one. Therefore, it is directly connected to I3. And similarly, I5 on ID, I5 on ID generates F implies ID dot, which is already available here. So it is connected to the state I4. Okay. So I5 is completed. Now let us go to I6. I6 is having a capital F on dot. Therefore, I6 on F you need to define. So just move that dot after F. Becomes T implies T star F dot. And because there is no symbol after dot, it stops. Similarly, on I6, there is another symbol after dot ID. So you define it. It becomes F implies ID dot, which is nothing but I4. So it is connected over here. Okay. So I5 and I6 are completed. Similarly, we perform the same process on I7 and on I8. There is no transition on I8, but on I7 you have a production here. After that you have star. So define I7 on star, which becomes T star dot F, which is nothing but this one, I6. So we connect it here. Okay. So this is how we can generate all the canonical LR of 0 items for the argument graph. So once this step is completed, the next thing is you need to construct the SLR pass table. For that purpose, SLR pass table requires the first and follow sets for writing the reduce operations. Okay, in our previous example, because there is no ambiguity, we have not calculated any first and follow sets, and also the reduce operations are straightforward there. Therefore, we directly added them. But actually, for adding that reduce operation, you need to look into these follow sets. Okay, so calculate the follow sets. For calculating follow sets, you require first sets also. So I have already explained how to calculate these first and follow sets in design of LL of one person. So you can refer to that video again. So first set always contains the first terminal, the set of first terminals uh, on RHS, and follow sets contains the set of terminals that follows the corresponding variable. So calculate the first sets and follow sets of each variable in the grammar. Please refer back to that video where we discussed about calculating first and follow sets. Okay, so once this is done, we are ready to construct the SLR table by using the same three steps I explained in previous video. Let us refer back to the points. Say the shift operation will be defined like this. If a state I is going to some state ij on a terminal, then it resembles a shift operation. It represents a shift operation. Okay, so how to define this? Let us say this is II state. On a terminal, it is going to another state ij. Then it will be written like this: II on A moving to state J. Therefore, the operation is shift. So Sj, S stands for shift operation. J means to which state it is moving. So from II on small a, it is moving to ij, and the operation to be performed is shift. That is what it is saying. So if any state is having a transition on terminal, it represents the shift operation, and you need to fill the table by using this formula. Okay, right. And if you have a variable as transition, then you fill it into go to part. So if you have a state II and which it is having a transition with variable moving to ij, then what you need to do is with II state and the combination of this variable capital A, the go to tape part will be written as the state number. It is because it is going to ij, you will write the state number j. Okay, so this is how we fill the go to table. So for every transition with variable, transitions with variables will fill the go to table. Okay, and then third and most crucial part is writing the reduction operations. So whenever you have some production like this in any state, if any production contains this type of productions, that means you have nothing after dot, then it represents the reduce operation. So how to fill it? Suppose you have something like this. This is the grammar, and you calculated follow of s and follow of a for all the variables in the grammar. Now let us say there is a state in the canonical collection of LR of 0 items, say II, which has something like this. A implies alpha, beta, dot. What does this mean? There is no symbol available after dot. Okay, then how to fill the table? To fill the table, what you need to do is in the row II, see the follow set of capital A. So LHS variables follow set you need to see. So what is the follow set of capital A here? A. Therefore, you need to write with the column A as reduced to R2. Okay. So how do you identify that it is reduced to? This 2 represents the corresponding production number. Assuming that A implies alpha, beta, dot is the second production in your grammar, it has to be R2. Okay. So this 2 is the uh, production number. We give the numbers in the given order of grammar. Therefore, it will be R2. R stands for reduce operation. 2 stands for the production number in the given grammar. So this example will show how to write the reduce operation. Now let us fill the table for our example. Okay. So first thing is 3 things you need to look. What is that first thing you need to look? Look for the terminal operations. Okay, so where you have a terminal operation, here it is on I0 with ID, you are going to I4. This represents a shift operation, shift 4. Okay, so I0 on ID is shift 4. I0 on ID is shift 4. Okay, similarly, any other terminal? Yes, I1 on plus, plus is a terminal. I1 on plus is shift 5. I1 on plus is shift 5. Okay, so like that, you fill all the shift operations by looking at the terminal transitions. Similarly, reduce operation, I will show reduce operation also. Reduce operation is if you have nothing after dot. Okay, so let us understand this. I4, I will explain this I4. I4 contains F implies ID dot. So because you don't have anything after dot, this represents a reduce operation. Where to fill it? On follow of F. What is follow of F? We have calculated that follow of F. What is follow of F here? Star plus dollar. So in I4 combination with star plus dollar, what you need to write is reduce and the equation number, the production number. What is the production number? Let us go back to the grammar to identify the production number. So what is the production number here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth production it is. Therefore, what you need to write there? In I4 plus star dollar. With all these three combinations, we'll write reduce 5 operation. Okay, I hope you understood this, or else I'll show it again. In I4, what we have is F implies ID. F implies ID dot. Because there is nothing after dot, what you need to do is this resembles a reduce operation. So what you need to identify is an I4, you have to see the follow set of F and also the number, production number. Because the production number F implies ID is 5 in the original grammar. F implies ID is fifth production in the given grammar. That is unambiguous grammar, not the ambiguous grammar. And this represents reduce operation. We are going to write R5 in the combination of follow of F. What is that follow of F? Look at it. Star plus dollar. So with I4, okay, at plus star and dollar, we write R5, R5. Okay. Similarly, you can fill up all these reduce operations here. Okay. And how do you fill go to operation? Go to operation is for the variables. The transitions with variables represents go to operation. So let us explain. I will explain one variable, say this one, capital T. So I0 on capital T is moving to I2. That means I0 on T, that is I0 on T is state 2 in go to part. So I0 on T is state 2 in go to part. So we have to fill the go to part by using the production, the transitions with the variables. Okay. So that is how you will fill this SLR parse table with three operations. What are the three operations? Shift operation, reduce operation, and the go to part. And all these empty locations which are not filled represents the errors. So whenever your parser identifies one of these locations while parsing an input string, it means there is an error in the input string. And there will be only one accept situation where it is going to be with the dollar. So how do you identify this? Identifying this is very simple. If you look at the DFA, S dash, the augmented production we added is S dash, S dash with no symbol after dot on RHS. That will represent uh, the accept situation. So I1 on dollar, whenever you have this production in any state, it means the corresponding state with the dollar represents accept situation. Okay, so you need to remember it. So I1 on dollar is accepting condition, right? So once you are done with the construction of SLR parse table, I suggest you to go through these points if you have any doubts in filling up this table. I have given all the reduce operations and accept operation here. I have not given shift operation because it is very easy to identify the shift operation. So the only confusion will be with reduce operation. Therefore, I have given explanation for all the reduce operations here. You can go through this slide whenever you have doubt in filling up this table. Okay. So all of you practice this. Try to fill the table in your own. Okay. Right. So once you are done with the SLR parse table, then we are ready to use it. Driving the SLR parser will contain a stack input buffer, and the actions will be if the top stack symbol is SM and the input symbol is SAI, and the parse table shows the action shift S with the combination, then what you need to do is move that AI onto the stack and also capital S onto the stack. So AI comma S will be moved into the stack. Okay, and if the combination SM comma AI represents a reduce operation from the table, then what you need to do is remove 2 times mod beta, that is length of this beta, twice the length of this beta symbols must be removed from the stack. Okay, assuming that R is the length of this twice the number of beta, you need to remove that many symbols from here and then add the LHS of the corresponding handle, capital A, and go to of this SM minus R comma A as the stack last symbol. Okay, I have explained this with an example in our previous lesson. You can go through that to understand this properly. Okay, so shift reduce, and 2 more operations will be there in the parse table. If the table contains SM comma AI combination as accept and the parsing is completed, you can simply halt the process of parsing the table and the string is accepted. If it maps to any error condition, that means empty cell, then you can halt the parser and invoke any error recovery routine to continue the parsing process with the other statements of the program. Okay, I'm not solving the example now. I'm leaving it to you. All of you try to do this example. I have explained one example in our previous lecture. So just refer back to that and try to parse this string. ID plus ID star ID is the string I am trying to parse. Okay, and initially stack contains 0 state and the input is written as it is in the buffer followed by a dollar, and you need to identify the actions and perform the corresponding actions so that it will produce accept at the end. The action accept must be generated by this parsing because it is a valid string from the ground. Okay, so I leave it to you. Complete this task so that you will understand how SLR parsing works. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you understood this SLR parsing now. We discussed the parsing algorithm, how to build the parse table, and also we have gone through 2 examples of building SLR parser. And I request all of you to practice the examples properly by using a pen and paper. Just don't ignore it. You need to practice well. Even if you understand while listening this lecture, you need to practice it to understand properly. Okay. So I hope you will practice it. When we come back, we will begin the third unit, which is about the design of advanced parsers, more advanced parsers, which are nothing but LALR parser and CLR parser. So, thank you all.